Let's talk about life. I love life, I really do. I love being on this planet. I love being me, you know? It can be challenging at times, it really can. It can be very, very challenging. But that is the nature of life on this planet, of life on this third dimensional plane. And you know, sometime in life, you'll be taken to your knees. Life will take you to your knees. Happens to everybody. Everybody in life, at least, gets taken to their knees. And it happens to most people before they're 30. Happens to some people when they're very young. Most people before they're 30 will be taken to their knees. And a lot of people stay there. A lot of people don't get up. And they go through life on their knees, not even really consciously realizing that they're a slave on their knees, a slave to the system, a slave to their belief systems, a slave to their fears, the self-imposed limitations. They don't even realize they're a slave. They've conformed to a certain way of being, and the way of being is to be on your knees. And I can see it. I can see it in the people that haven't been taken to their knees yet. The young people, I can see it in them. Hasn't happened to them yet. But it's a test, you know. It's a test of can you get back up again? How will you handle it? It's going to happen to everybody, right? Some people worse than others. No doubt about that. Some people they won't just be taken to their knees, they'll be taken right off their feet and they'll land full smack face in the dirt. Real bloody nose, dirt all over them, numb. And then dragged along for a while. And that's a blessing. If that person can get up after that and keep going, which is the secret, by the way, to keep going. If that person can do that, to keep going, to get up after that, and they'll be covered in dirt, they'll be covered in blood, and to heal from that and to wash it all off them, to wash all the dirt off them, to wash the dried blood off them, if they can do that, well, those are some of the great people in history, because they've gone down to the depths of their soul and brought out something that is very deep, to say the least, right? But some of them don't. Some of them, they get back up and they keep going, but they keep going and they've got chips on their shoulder, and they believe that they're something special because they went through some harder times than most other people, and they didn't really get the lesson. And even though they got back up and they kept going, they didn't really get it, you know, they didn't really get it, and because of that, they may as well be on their knees, you know, because they're a slave to the experience that they had, because they carry that with them rather than using that to empower them. They use it to make themselves a victim, or to make themselves, or make them arrogant, like they're more deserving than others or something like that. So what do you do, right? Well, you got to realize you're going to be taken to your knees, and you might be taken around off your feet and land right in your face, you know. And you got to be okay with that. You got to say, well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if it happens more than once, because every time it happens, I'll learn to fall better and more gracefully and more elegantly, and I'll get up quicker, and I'll learn how to wash myself off and dust myself off, and I'll get back in the game quicker, and I'll learn from it, and I'll be able to help other people when it happens to them get back up, or to teach them of what to do when it does happen to them, to give them the strategies and the skills. Although no matter how many strategies and skills you learn, it's going to depend on you at the end of the day. It's going to depend on your spirit, how you deal with adversity. You look around you. Most of the human race are going through life on their knees. Anyone over 30 years old, majority of them are. They've left their hopes and dreams behind them. It's just always going to be a dream to them. They believe they can't get it, and there's someone to blame for why they can't have it. There's some way to justify why they couldn't do it. There's something, some rationalization. But it's never too late. It's never too late to get up off your knees and give it another shot. Or get up out of your, you know, if you're covered in mud and you think there's no way I can get out of this because I'm just covered in mud. You just look at yourself and you're covered in mud, and you see that as your self-image. You see that as your identity, that you're just someone that's covered in mud. But you start scrubbing that mud off, you start washing it off. And underneath is the real you, right? So you can do it. And leave behind the victimhood, leave behind the arrogance, and lead with your heart. Thanks for watching. See you next time.